So in the last video we got started on the new manual shaper. We got the base made, we got the sides made, we got the base block made, and we got cross slide made, and as well as that we made a few mistakes on these holes at the bottom. That one we ended up slotting because the hole in the base plate was 2.5mm out of position, and this one, well, we broke a tap in the base plate, so we still have that to remove, and we'll get round to that eventually. So in this video we're going to be making the ram, which is in the top here, and also the linkage for the lever up here. So the first thing we'll make is the ram. There's probably going to be another video after this because I had to look back at the drawings and there was still a lot to do. So there's the ram to make, there's two pieces make up the lever. You've got this pivot plate and then the lever itself, and then you've got this linkage back to the body of the shaper. So we'll focus on getting that made in this video. In the next video we will get the head made for the ram and the cross slide made, which will be where our material fixes to. So as you'll have hopefully noticed, I now have a new whiteboard in my workshop. I've already received a sticker from Rustinox, and I have my own stickers as well. Not quite as big as those of Rustinox, but if you have a sticker you'd like to send to me, or if you would like one of my stickers, send me an email. My email is in the link below, in the description below, and I'll send you stickers free of charge, and I'll also put your stickers on my board if you would like them featured in my videos. Also, I've got a website where you can get drawings and things. There's drawings on there of the power feed bracket I made, so go on there and you can download that. I will eventually be making the drawings available on my website to make this, so keep updated on that website. So let's get into today's video, making the ram and the lever, and let's see how it goes. So on the end of this 50 by 50 square bar, we need to turn down a round section, which is where the head of the shaper will clamp on. So we're just going to turn that down to a full radius, about 38mm diameter, and then we'll get it out of the lathe onto the milling machine, and there's a few holes and this end needs to be slotted. So I've finished milling that slot in the back of there now. I've got a hole to drill in the top here. Now in here there's a hole that'll go down just halfway to the centre, and then another hole that'll go right through the middle in that direction, and then down the bottom there'll be another two holes that'll come in from the bottom as we're looking at it now, quite close to the edges up to the centre, and they'll all be on the same centre line in this direction. And what that'll do is we can put oil in here, it'll go down and it'll feed out onto the guides that this will sit on later. So it's just a oil duct really to carry the oil to the mating surfaces where this will be sitting, so we'll get it drilled. On top of here there's also going to be a stop which will be used to adjust the how far this travels. When we're using it, it'll stop against the lever, so we just need 2 more holes in here that will be drilled and tapped, so we can put a small bracket on there, and then that'll have an adjustable screw that'll stop against the handle. So we've got the ram turned 90 degrees now, so we've got the hole to drill for the handle pivot, and we also need to drill right through here, so that we get that oil duct right through, and then we'll turn it 90 degrees again and then drill through that face to connect into the oil ducts. So that's the ram complete now. We've got it turned down on that end, and we've got holes in for the oil to travel through, and then we've got 2 holes in the top which is for our stop to set the depth of cut, and we've got our slot which is where our lever is going to fix in. So before we can get the ram into the shaper, we need to make the guides. So 2 will be like a shelf, we've got 2 bits of square bar that are going to form a shelf, which is what the ram will sit on each side, and then there'll be 2 on top just to keep it in place. So these need to be machined down to about 12mm square. We've got holes to drill and tap to match the holes in the side of the side plates, and then we can bolt them into position on either side. So we've got 4 of them to do, so we'll do them next. So I've just finished machining the handle. We just faced that off. We've faced down the 4 guides for the ram. So we've machined them down from a 16mm square bar. They're now about 12mm square within 0.1 of a mil. And we've machined down some 25mm square bar to create our links. They're about 19mm by 24mm now. And also we've got our pivot plate, which is what the handle and the links will fix to and the ram will fix to. So I've cut the corners off that. That was a square plate. I've just used a slitting disc to cut the corners off. All this now needs drilled. The ram guides, they need drilled and tapped. The link rods, the linkage, that just needs clearance holes at each end. Again, the pivot plate, that needs drilled. And the lever, that needs slotted so it will sit round either side of the pivot plate, and it needs drilled in 2 positions so we can pin that to the pivot plate. So I've just finished slotting the handle. So the last thing to do now is to drill this pivot plate. There's a few holes to go in. There's 2 holes to go in the top, which will be what the handle fixes to. There'll be a few holes down here, and maybe we'll just provide different options to give different ranges on the linkage. And then there'll be a hole around about here which will go into the ram itself, and then that will pivot round that point. So that's the part finished that make up the lever mechanism. Just finished drilling the pivot plate, so now we can start getting this all put together. We've got our fixings there, so we'll get it all put together on the shaper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the guides inside the sides, and just going to do that with some M6 screws. before it gets too congested in there, I'm going to put the linkage bars in. And they're held together with a M8 bolt, which will just pass right through. Okay, so now we'll put the ram in. That should sit on that shelf. Oh yeah, the ram's in, so that's where it's going to slide. So we'll get the guides in on top. That's nice though. At the moment it's got a bit of sideways play that way, but we should be able to tighten that up with this bolt down there later on. So next thing to do is to put the handle in. At the moment I've only got 2 bolts in each of those ram guides. Move it closer to you. So I'll put them in at the end. I just want to get this together so I can show you how it works. So next thing I'm going to do now is put this pivot plate in. So there's the pivot plate. Pivot plate there is fixed to the ram, and just get the nut on this side of the bolt. And then we need another bolt to go on either side of the link arms down here. So at the moment there's a bit of play in the ram there. What I might do is see if I can get some shims in there just to take up some of the play. Or maybe once I get a spanner on that bolt I might be able to just pull that a bit tighter. But we'll see how it goes. So we'll put the handle on next. Okay. It's got nice movement in it, that. The ram at this end isn't not any play in that, that's good. Once we've got the head on the ram, it won't be able to go past that point. At the moment, because the head's off, it can disappear inside, but that'll be as far as it'll go. So it'll be able to travel from there till there, and we can probably even adjust that by altering the linkage on the back to get a bit more travel, but at the moment I'm happy with that. So I'm going to get the bolts tightened up. In the future there might be some modifications to make. As I say, once I get that bolt tightened up, it should improve the play in that direction. In the future it might be worthwhile putting another bolt back here that isn't going to interfere with the linkage, just so we can pull the back tighter. But at the moment that feels good. So there we are. That's going to be the end of this second video. We've got some more progress made on this manual shaper. We're starting to see some moving parts now. In the next video we'll be making the head where the cutting tool will go in the future, and also the cross slide. Both of them have some lead screws that we'll have to assemble for the vertical adjustment and the horizontal adjustment, so check back for that. Please subscribe, check out my Instagram, and if you have subscribed already, thank you for doing that. If you click the bell symbol, you'll also receive notifications when I next release a video, so you can stay right up to date. In the meantime, until the next video, go check out Rustinox if you want to see a real mechanical shaper, and see you again next time. Thanks a lot.